Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing something a little bit weird, a little bit strange, a little bit different, but hear me out. So as you can see, I'm drawing some YouTubers, but this concept is a little bit different than my Drawing YouTubers series, which I'll explain a little bit more about the differences in a little bit. But in this video, I'm drawing pictures for a crazy idea I had. So basically, I remembered seeing this thing that certain YouTubers had done, where they will draw other YouTubers in a little notebook, and then when they meet them, they have them sign it. And so I was thinking, I want to do something like that. Even if I never meet the YouTubers and have them sign it, I still really like the idea of just having like a book of different YouTubers. Is that weird? It sounds kind of weird when you say it like that. Like, yes, I just want to have a book of YouTubers, ah. But because I didn't want to draw these pictures traditionally, so I thought, what if I drew them digitally and then printed them out or put them in some sort of book? And that's kind of how I got the super random idea to make a YouTuber yearbook of sorts. Partially because it was like simple pictures, and you know, yearbooks have simple pictures because they're just kind of people sitting there all in one book, and that people usually sign. So it makes sense in my head, but I am like fully aware of the fact that it's also really weird. My plan is to make this a series where I draw a few different YouTubers in one video, and then eventually somehow turn it into like a legitimate book. Haven't figured that part out yet, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I did each drawing in a yearbook type format, making all the pictures fit into the same size square, and adding their name at the bottom. For some YouTubers, we know their full names, and for some, they've chosen to keep their full names private, and so for YouTubers like that, I just added a last name that's inspired by their channel name. Or at least I don't know what their name is. Maybe they said it before and I just wasn't listening. Underneath their names, I add a yearbook quote because that's a thing that people do. Normally it's some inspired quote by somebody like, "Be the change you want to see in the world. So for the love of all things good and beautiful, change the toilet paper roll. Said so-and-so." This is so stupid. But for this, instead of doing like something that some other random person said, I just went with a quote that they commonly say, which is generally like an intro or outro. I don't think this part was entirely necessary, but I felt like it did kind of sell the whole yearbook thing. Which, I don't know why I'm trying to sell this as a yearbook, but we've already started on this journey and there's no going back. So for the first YouTuber I'm drawing in this video, I decided to draw Lauren Z-Side, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. One of the reasons I chose Lauren is because she's not only one of my faves, but she's also one of the first YouTubers that I ever really watched. Except for MatPat, who we'll get to in a second, but my brother actually watched Film Theory, I believe, was the one that he particularly watched, so MatPat and his channels I didn't specifically find on my own, whereas Lauren's channel I'm pretty sure was the first channel that I ever found on my own, and liked enough to like subscribe and stuff. I mean, obviously she wasn't the first channel that I ever came across, but I just mean that she was the first one that I really liked. Which is funny because one of the other YouTubers in this video is how I found Lauren. So I somehow came across Bijou Mike's channel and watched a few videos, and I kind of liked his videos, but then I saw a collaboration he did with Lauren, which then somehow got me watching Lauren's videos, and it wasn't until later that I kind of rediscovered Bijou Mike's channel. Granted, it wasn't like a super long time later, and I used to be kind of picky with who I subscribed to, so no offense. But we'll talk more about him later in this video. I love how when Lauren plays games, she acts like she actually is a character in the game, like when she pretends to quit YouTube to start a new job. And I find that makes everything really fun and interesting and different from the way other gamers play. It's also fun how she makes things that are supposed to be scary just really funny. When drawing Lauren's picture, I was thinking of what's kind of like an iconic pose or something for her, and I thought of the Z symbol that she makes with her hand, which did give me a bit of trouble, but in the end, I think it turned out alright. I'm pretty sure I tried to draw Lauren in this pose once before, but it was kind of difficult and I never finished that sketch because, I mean, it wasn't for a video or anything. And this pose did give me some trouble, but in the end, I think it turned out pretty good. It's kind of weird how it's obstructing her face, but other than that, I think that it mostly looks okay. A random thing I'm just now noticing, it looks like the hair on one side is like shorter than the other side, so that's kind of weird. Didn't mean to do that. It was really fun making her colored hair, how it fades from brown to purple. I used the watercolor brush for that and just kind of blended the colors. I also tried to go with some iconic outfits, so for Lauren, I definitely went with her like star shirt, which is super cute. One of her eye shines, I made a star, and I also gave her a galaxy type themed backdrop. And overall, I think I like the way this picture turned out. So let me know what you think of it, and let me know if Lauren is one of your favorite YouTubers. Also, I will be linking the channels of all of the YouTubers I'm drawing in this video in the description, so if you have not seen them before for some reason, go ahead and check them out. They are all amazing. Next, I'm going to be drawing MatPat. So when thinking of the YouTubers I should draw for this video, I was thinking I might go in kind of like timeline order. So the first YouTubers that I ever really watched, some of the YouTubers that I've been watching for a really long time. I mean, it hasn't been that long ago, but we're talking back when it was just Film Theory, Game Theory, and GT Live. And back when GT Live was actually live. I mean, personally, I kind of like the not live videos, but I get why people like live streams, but I'm personally not really a fan. So the videos work for me just as well. And then I also decided to go with the theme of gamer. In fact, the 4 YouTubers I draw in this video are the main gamers that I watch. One of the things I particularly like about MatPat is that he analyzes every little thing when playing a game. And oftentimes you get some live theorizing, and other times you just get kind of a random story that's usually somewhat unrelated, but I enjoy the chaos. And MatPat just seems to be a legitimately fun and kind person. He even hosted the Streamies this year, which I had never even heard of, until he said that he was hosting, and so I watched it, and he was amazing, fabulous, we love him, but the rest of the Streamies were honestly kind of boring. I didn't even know who like 95% of the people were, so it gave me like Hollywood vibes, which I feel like isn't what YouTube is supposed to be like, but that's just my 2 cents. And honestly, I only watched the Streamies because Matt was hosting. Oh, and also Stephanie was amazing as well. So for MatPat's pose, I decided to go with the iconic chin on his hand while intently thinking, because it's just too perfect not to. But this pose actually gave me a bit of trouble for some reason. In the end, I think it turns out okay, but there's still something about it that just looks off to me, and I don't know why. Like, it's such a simple pose, but it was actually kind of giving me trouble. I don't know if it's like the weird angle or the arms crossing over, but I was like struggle bussing with this one, and it's a pretty simple pose. I also gave him his iconic red jacket, because how could I not? This is like my 3rd time drawing MatPat, and every time I'm like, maybe I should draw him wearing something else, but the red jacket is just so iconic, I just have to draw him wearing it. It's just too perfect. And so when shading his jacket, I decided to go with a lot of cell shading, so I didn't really fade out any of the lines or anything like that, or do any soft shading, because I felt like the harder lines kind of looked more like the material that his jacket is made out of. So every time I draw MatPat's eyes, I have this image in my head of what the eye shape should be in my style, but the curve is just ever so slightly different or so perfect that it's very difficult for me to draw the way that I'm imagining it, but that's okay, I guess. His eyes aren't exactly the shape I think they should be, but it looks fine, it still looks like him. I'm just being nitpicky. Maybe someday I'll get it right. Someday! I honestly love drawing real people in my style, because I think it's so stylized, yet in a sense that it still looks like the person, so it just looks like a super cute version of the person. Not to say that they aren't already cute in real life, because I would never say that. However, I would also never say that they are, because that's stalker energy, and we ain't about that life. But whenever I look at one of my drawings, I'm always like, they're so cute. It's a problem. And I mean, that's not just me trying to be like, oh, I love my art style. Even though, you know, I obviously like it, it is my art style. If I didn't like it, that would be kind of concerning. But it is different when you're stylizing a real life person comparatively to a character. And as you may have noticed, I am drawing 4 different YouTubers in this video, which means I am drawing 4 different pictures, which is much more than normal, but I figured since I'm drawing pictures that are pretty simple, I should include more. Let me know for future videos if you guys want to see the entire liner and coloring process, or if you don't mind me cutting that down a little bit so that the videos aren't as long, particularly when it comes to longer videos like this one. And of course for the background, I made it good old clickbait green, but I did give it a gradient from a lighter green on top and a darker green on the bottom to make it a little bit more interesting. One effect that I added to all of the pictures was I tried to make it look like they were being lit from above, like they were sitting under like a studio light or something while taking a picture. Next YouTuber I'm going to be drawing in this video is Daco. And I love Daco. I love all the YouTubers in this video. Mad respect to them. They all seem like such lovely people and so legit. Because I mean, you know the internet. People can fake anything that they want. So it's so wholesome when people are legit. We love to see it. I know I kind of mentioned that about MatPat, but I also feel that way about these other YouTubers, so I wanted to make sure I included them as well. One of the things I love about Daco is that he's very fun and expressive and loud. The chaos is strong with this one. You also gotta admire the dedication he puts into his videos. I love when YouTubers are passionate about what they do, because I feel like that's what YouTube is all about. For his pose, I decided to go with him like waving at the camera like he does when he ends his videos, because I thought that was kind of fun and interesting and true to character. One thing to know about everybody's poses is that I'm trying to make them look kind of interesting. I mean, if we're going based off of the whole yearbook theme, yearbook photos are usually pretty boring. They're just kind of somebody sitting there smiling. So I tried to change it up a little bit, give everybody different poses, and in the future I kind of want to work on that more as well. So not everybody looks super boring and just kind of sitting there smiling at the camera. But I'm also trying to make sure the pose is in character for the person's personality, or something that I've actually seen them do before, or is in some way an iconic pose for them, or you know, that sort of thing. I was actually expecting this pose to be a little bit more difficult than it actually was. I mean, hands are always weird and all that, but I actually really like the way this picture turns out. I tried to add detail to the clothing folds and everything, so let me know how I did. Also, I'm curious to know how much you guys think that my drawings look like the real people. I mean, obviously they don't look exactly like the real people or anything because it's stylized, but basically, is it recognizable as that person? In my opinion, the one that I think I'd say looks most like the real person would probably be Dako, so let me know what you guys think. Either way, I think all of these pictures turned out really cute, so I hope you guys like them. For his outfit, I decided to give him a jacket that I have seen him wear before. I believe it was actually merch made by Game Theory, so that's cool. One of the reasons I chose it is because I remembered that he had worn it before, it's FNAF themed, and I like the colors. I think they look really good on him. I simplified the design a little bit, but for the most part it's the same. Another reason I chose it is because it totally reminds me of a varsity jacket, which totally fits the whole school theme of this weird yearbook theme. Also, knowing the name of a varsity jacket is just one of those random things that just lives in my brain, but I don't know where it came from or how I know that. I also paired it with a lavender shirt underneath because I actually saw him wearing it with a lavender shirt and I was very impressed. I approve of this color matching. So I found a new way to shade black clothing that I really like. So all of the YouTubers in this video are actually wearing black, which I didn't plan, but I always found it hard to try and shade a dark color with an even darker version of that color. So when shading black, I usually make the color that's supposed to be black not fully black, so like a dark purple or a dark blue, and then I add an even darker version of that and I try to use that for the shading. But I discovered that if I use black for the shading and then just lower the opacity on that layer, so that it's not as dark, it's not actually black, it works really well. Which I'm so glad I discovered because I will definitely be using that more in the future. Speaking of everybody's colors though, I do really love the way these pictures turned out because of how the colors all match. I really love looking at all of them next to each other because not only do they have the uniformity of the yearbook format, but I love the way the colors look next to each other. And I'm low-key obsessed with how well they complement each other. They just look so good next to each other. I show them all together at the end of the video, so don't worry, you'll get to see what I'm talking about. For the background, I decided to go with purple, because that was kind of the accent color of this picture, and then I also had it fade into yellow, to make the background look more interesting, and because I felt like he already had yellow on his jacket, and that kind of ties in the yellow, and purple and yellow are also complementary colors. All of them ended up having purple in their design, except for MatPat's, which honestly still looks fine because he has the green background. And purple and green look pretty good together, so his green background being next to the purple still looks good, despite the fact that he doesn't have purple in his design. And I mean, obviously, when I do other YouTubers, they're not all gonna have similar colors or matching colors or anything like that, at least, you know, with the people next to them, but I still thought that was really cool. You know what I just realized? That Lauren and Lewis both start with L, and one of their main colors is purple. And Matt and Mike both start with M, and their main colors are green. Why does that match so perfectly? Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, other random thought, Lauren and Lewis would be such cute siblings. Okay, that's enough of that. Oh, and just in case you didn't know, Lewis is Dako's name. Though I guess if you didn't know, you've probably already figured that out by now. And the last YouTuber I'm going to be drawing in this video is Bijou Mike. Also, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, so I'm sorry if I'm not. As I previously mentioned, I had originally found Bijou Mike's channel quite a while ago, and I had watched some videos, but then I just kind of stopped watching them for a while, I guess. Partially because, like I said, I was kind of picky. I thought that I had to like really like a YouTuber before subscribing to them or anything like that. But it wasn't too long before I realized that, you know, I can like subscribe to a YouTuber that I think I like, but I'm not necessarily sure and then unsubscribe later if I'm actually not interested. did. Even though I always hate unsubscribing to people, I don't think I ever have, but I'm always like afraid to because I just feel bad. But yeah, like I said, I don't think I have ever unsubscribed to anybody. But despite not having watched Bijou Mike's channel for a little bit, it was always something that I remembered, so I guess that's something good. His channel was memorable, so I did then remember and come back to it. Funny enough, I actually started watching Daco and Bijou Mike around the same time, but it was kind of completely unrelated, other than me branching out on what YouTubers I watched. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that this is different from my Drawing YouTubers series and that I would explain the difference later. So later has come, here's the difference. The YouTuber Yearbook series will be where I draw a few different YouTubers in one video. I'm drawing more simple pictures that kind of have a yearbook feel to them, and you know, that sort of thing. Basically, the drawings that I'm doing in this video, obviously. I will also try and theme these videos where I'm drawing similar YouTubers in each video, like how this one was all gamers. Next time might be all animators or something like that. My Drawing YouTubers series is where I draw one YouTuber in the video, and it is fully themed around them, and I try to do a full illustration. I've actually only ever drawn one other YouTuber in this series thus far, and that was MatPat. So I will link that video at the end of this one if you want to go check it out. And I do have a request to draw Mariah Elizabeth for next Drawing YouTubers, so that video will be coming out soon. And of course, if you'd like to see me draw any specific YouTubers, you can recommend them to me too. If you request a YouTuber, you can specify if you'd like to see them in a YouTuber yearbook video or in a Drawing YouTubers video. Or if you don't specify, then I'll just draw whichever one I decide on drawing. Also, please like this video if you enjoyed it so I know, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you! Since this whole thing is yearbook themed, I decided to give each YouTuber a school year. Basically, you know how there's freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior? I assigned one to each of them. There's no reasoning behind why I chose who to be where, it was just kind of whatever felt right. So I made MatPat a senior, Lauren and Mike juniors, and Daco a sophomore. Like I said, there's no reasoning behind this, it was just something random that I thought of because of it being a yearbook theme, and figured I'd share with you guys. For this picture, I went with a pose that I have seen him do before, and I gave him an outfit that I have seen him wear once before, but it's not anything special or iconic or anything like that. I just thought it looked cool. I also added purple to his design, because I think that purple and green look really good together. And yeah, let me know what you think. Drawing glasses is not something I do very often, and it's honestly kind of difficult. I don't think I'm very good at it, but you can let me know what you think. I think the main issue for me is that it's like somewhat obstructing the face, and so it can make the eyes look kind of weird to me, but I don't think it looks too bad. If you have any tips, let me know. One thing that you see in the drawing that I then change later is that Mike's hair is a little bit less detailed in the original drawing. I change it up a little bit for the final picture, but in the video, you can see it's like not as detailed. And so it looked kind of weird. It almost had like a clay texture to me, as well as the fact that it didn't match the other drawings. For some reason I didn't notice this until the end, so you don't see me fix that, but I did fix it, so you'll see it in the final picture. Also, random thing that I noticed while drawing these pictures is that all four of these YouTubers seem to have their hair parted on the same side, which I never would have noticed if I wasn't drawing them. So that's interesting. It also seems to be the same side that I have my hair parted, so maybe that means it's just the cool person hair part. Okay, anyways. I also gave them all extra eye shines. I put like a rectangle in the top of the eye and then I faded it out. And I actually really like the way that looks, because it adds a bit of interest and color to the eyes, using the accent color, kind of like a bounce light. Like Lauren and Daco both get purple highlights, and MatPat and Bijou Mike both get green highlights. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Check out these YouTubers, link in the description, or watch one of these other videos of mine, or subscribe or like the video or do whatever you want to do. Okay, love you, bye!